Yo, what is going on, guys? Harry here and welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be looking at 10 under 23 players that are currently injured that could see a rise in price on Sorare once they are back from injury. If you are new to my channel and you haven't subscribed, please do. If you do enjoy this video, please leave it a like. If you are interested in signing up to Sorare but haven't done so yet, there is a link in the description of this video that will get you one free limited card once you've bought your first 5 cards from the new card auctions on Sorare. Intro's out the way, let's just get straight into the video. So the whole buying an injured player on Sorare strategy has been around since the dawn of time. It's nothing too revolutionary, but the strategy seems to work quite often, especially with players who are normally very good scorers in SO5. They then get injured, you then buy them whilst they're injured, and then you then proceed to sell once they are back playing and scoring well, right? So not every injured player is going to turn out that way in that sense. You know, they're not always going to come back firing, scoring dark green scores. You know, it's not always that simple. Like I said in the intro, we're just going to look through 10 under 23 players that are currently injured that could potentially see price rises once they're back playing and playing well. First on the list is Gio Reyna of Borussia Dortmund. He's currently got a mild hamstring strain. Reyna ended up getting injured on his return from another injury, which doesn't really pose too well of a situation for a football player, reoccurring injuries. But nonetheless, he's an unbelievable talent. Still only 19 years of age. He's under 23 until June 2027, which is nuts. That utility is crazy. You can currently pick up a limited roughly for 300 euros and a rare roughly for 1,600, 0.66 ETH. Only 25 minted, which is quite surprising. 208 minted in the limiteds. I'm just looking at his scores here. He was out for a long time. Came back in this game and ended up getting injured. We've got a 76 here. We can look at his all, I guess, and there's a little bit more data to go off. He hit 100 against Freiburg. He must have got 3 decisive that game. For me, Reyna could be and should be, the best performing US player in their national team. He is a starter for Dortmund when he's fit. He's been out for so long though, then things change in terms of personnel, and Dortmund's starting 11 is gonna have shifted a lot, but I think there's still definitely room for him. If he can really get a run of games going. One of the big reasons I really like him is because he does take set pieces, right? So that's one of the big things for me on Sorare when I'm looking at a player. Are they involved in a lot of creative play if they're midfielders / forwards, right? Reyna's on set pieces, meaning that there's more probability that he is going to score decisive. That's just the way I view the game. But for me, I think, yeah, if he can get back fit and get a consistent run of games going, then I think he could be a very, very decent purchase. The next player on our list is Mickey van der Veen of Wolfsburg. He's currently under 23 until 2025. He's 20 years old. He's a Dutch centre-half. You can currently pick up his limited for roughly 21 euros, and his rare is currently 300 euros. So this one is more of like a long-term buy, I would say. I don't think he's going to come back straight into the team at all. Like, he hasn't really played for Wolfsburg much. They bought him from Volendam, as you can see here, in the second league in Holland. He had a very good season for them. Started 26 games out of 26. He was in one team of the week at the time. Scored 2 goals, 1 assist. Obviously, he's a centre-back, so we're not expecting crazy decisive moments from him. But big standouts for me. 92% accurate passes per game. 96% in his own half. And one other thing that stood out for me, other than the defending variables like interceptions per game, 2.0, tackles per game, 1.7, which is nice. The big thing for me is the successful dribbles, 71%, 1.4 a game. So it's very modern day for centre-backs, especially if you're playing in a 3 maybe, to really burst through and find those killer passes into like the 8s and the 10s. And really set off attacks from centre-back. And this guy, from what I've seen on YouTube and stuff, he seems like he does that very well. He's very athletic and has got a really, really good left foot. So yeah, I don't think this is one, like I said, he's going to come back and take the Bundesliga by storm. I definitely think long term there is room for this player to be a starter for Wolfsburg. They do have a lot of talented centre backs, young ones as well. So it's not going to be easy for him, but it's not going to be easy anywhere in the Bundesliga in terms of competition. But yeah, I think this one could be a nice little long term play. Next on our list is Matthias Cunha of Atletico Madrid. He's under 23 eligible until next June. I've been following him for a long time, to be fair, even at his Hertha days. You can currently pick up a limited for roughly €85 and a rare for roughly €600. So again, like the Mickey van der Veen one, like I don't think Cunha walks back into the Atletico team in any way, you know, with Felix playing so well recently. Cunha's injury is actually pretty bad. He's got a grade 3 MCL tear. Which you wouldn't really wish on your worst enemy. Pre-Atletico Madrid, this guy was legit. Like you can see from some of these scores here, whilst he was playing in the Bundesliga, he was hitting high 80s quite frequently, and even without goals, he was hitting high 50s. So, and yeah, you're gonna guess it. That was down to his set piece involvement, right? He was on a load of corners, free kicks, penalties. So his goal involvement and his attempted assists, etc. were scored very high. And since he's gone to Atletico, he has struggled. He's come off the bench far too many times for him to really be an SO5 monster. There's a few, glimpses of hope here. There's a few goals, a nice little 79 here, 2 goals here, and another 78 here. So, he is capable. Again, with this type of injury, you can't expect him to be back anytime soon, really. So you're probably looking at next season. But yeah, if they move on Suarez, etc., then, maybe there could be a spot, a starting spot for him. Atletico Madrid is not naturally like the SO5 haven in the sense that you go to Atletico Madrid and your SO5 score gets better, because we've seen with Cunha, we've seen with Rodrigo de Paul, that really hasn't been the case. And Rodrigo de Paul was a bit of a monster at Udinese because he was the main man, right? Same as Cunha at Hertha. So, it is a tricky one, but I do think he's very talented. He's favoured for Brazil as well. They do like him in the national team. So yeah, for me, it's a decent little opportunity long term, but I don't think you can expect much this season from him. Next on our list is Mr. Ansu Fati. I will disclose I am a holder of his card. I do have his rare card. Yeah, been a very frustrating hold, to be honest. I bought him pre his other injury, if that makes sense. And then obviously he got injured in his first couple of games back, so that was just not ideal. Again, similar to the Reyna one, there's not a ton of data. There is obviously, you can see here, a few really high scores, 100, 99, 85s, and then obviously since injuries, a few 70s. So yeah, really tough one, especially now with the fact that Barcelona have got so much firepower, right? Depay's back, Aubameyang, Ferran Torres, Ousmane Dembele looks like he's back to his best. So, do I see a starting position for Fati? Yes. Do I see it in the short term? Probably not, because one, they're going to want to, manage his injury and manage his minutes a lot. And two, Barcelona are on fire right now, so you can't really drop any of those forwards. But it is crazy to think that he's still only 19. He's under 23 eligible until 2027. So yeah, this one isn't a cheap purchase in that sense, but you're buying a player that could end up being the next Mbappe, right? I know that's a bit of a big statement with, the amount of injuries he's had and all that jazz, but, you got to think he's basically 4 years younger than Mbappe, and I know Mbappe was winning World Cups at 19, so, I'm ready for the slander in the comments. You should understand what I'm saying a little bit. He has the ability levels of an Mbappe, right, at the similar ages. I don't think he's quite as quick, but I think he does possess different traits that, that Mbappe maybe quite isn't as strong in, right? So, yeah, for me, he is going to be a world-class player. It's just whether his body can serve him well, right? That's basically the big question for me. But, that is the risk you are running when buying injured players. High risk, high reward. The next player on my list is Baron Exterra of Real Sociedad. He's currently out injured with, you guessed it, hamstring strain. A player that hasn't really seen the amount of minutes that I would have liked him to receive this season. But yeah, as you can see here, he has hit some decent scores in the past, albeit, decisive, reliant. He is a forward. He is under 23 until 2026. €52 for his limited, roughly, and €375 for his rare. I see this one playing out well if they sell Alexander Isak, right? So, there's been rumours that he's going to move on in the near future, maybe to the Premier League, Arsenal, whatever it is. Still only 20 years old, but, given the chance to play, I think he is able to score goals. But, with forward, you are very decisive, reliant most of the time, unless you're Messi. So, yeah, again, I don't think he walks back into the Sociedad team, but maybe next season could see him break through properly, given that other players in his position in the team, move on. Next on the list is Weston McKennie. He's under 23 until next June. I didn't realise this, but I'm guessing he doesn't have any... does he have any limited cards? Maybe he doesn't. No, he doesn't have any limited. That's interesting. Only his rare, I guess, is available for roughly 0.25 Ethereum. He's currently out with a broken foot. So yeah, looks like he's going to miss the World Cup qualifiers for the US, which is very disappointing for them. A player before his injury a few weeks ago that was scoring goals as well from the position he plays, right? So he is a box-to-box midfielder where for him to be scoring, the dark green scores that we see here, he is having to hit decisives, which he is more than capable of, as you can see here. For me, he's one of those players where like players in his team would say like, we need Weston McKennie playing for us, but like in an SO5 standpoint, like I don't think he's like required to have, if that makes sense. But nonetheless, he is a very solid player. I didn't realize he didn't have a limited card, to be honest, so there's only rares available. He's a very solid player, right? Like I said, he's been adding decisives to his game, which is needed because like he's not a player that's technically on set pieces or anything. So his AA game isn't crazy. If he can really improve on his defensive game, in terms of interceptions, tackles, etc., then he'll definitely improve his AA game that way. Not sure why there's no limiteds out, but if there was limiteds, I do think he'd be a very popular player for sure. Next on the list is Ryan Cherokee. Again, a player I do hold. I do have one of his rare cards. He is only 18 still, which is mental to think, like actually mental. But yeah, under 23 until 2028. You can pick up a limited for roughly 170 euros. And a rare is going to set you back roughly just over half an ETH. Broke his foot, broke his metatarsal. He's had to have an operation, etc. Yeah, very disappointing because he was sort of getting back into the side a little bit. Like, as you can see here, there's a few nice scores. There's a 90 here, 78, 76, 76. The rest of them are obviously off the bench. It's a tough one with him, I think, because I think his ability is unrivaled. There's not many players in the world. There's no 18-year-olds in the world with the ability that he has off both feet, and I'm very confident saying that. He is, technically one of the best players I've ever seen off both feet. Like, it's so rare to be able to play equally as good off your right and left. I know Usama Dembele can do it, but we're talking about a player who's like 7-8 years older than him. Yeah, at this age, like, there's not many players with this type of ability, and I just don't think right now he has the physical side to his game, in the sense that like I don't think he runs enough. I don't think his defensive side is there. I'm not saying he's there for those reasons, but to be an 18-year-old in a good team like Lyon and to be starting every week, you've got to have an all-round game. Like, you can't just be good at taking people on and doing that sort of thing, right? You have to offer more. And off the bench, that's enough. But to start, you do have to offer more. And is it that just the manager doesn't believe in him? Is it that he's not offering enough? It's hard to say. I'm only looking at this from the outside looking in. So maybe a move is on the cards, for next season. Maybe he needs a loan move, whatever it is. He does need regular football. He's a player that, can't really rot on the bench for me. I think he's too good for that. But yeah, like I said, ability-wise, he's unrivaled. I think he's unbelievable. And he has the ability to be an absolute SO5 monster because the amount of take-ons, the amount of entrance into the box, set pieces. The boy could have it all, but he just needs that license to play, right? Is that going to be at Lyon? I don't know. So maybe, next season could be, a decisive moment in his career where, he maybe does take a loan deal and goes to find game time, right? But yeah, for me, Cherokee is an absolute, or could be an absolute monster in the future, but it's definitely going to have to be a patient one for sure. Next on the list is Hugo Ekitike of Stade Rennais. He is under 23 eligible until 2026. He's 19 years old. He's currently out with, shock horror, a hamstring strain. Bit of an expensive one this, because he only recently got minted onto Sorare, right? So you can pick up his limited for roughly 320 euros, and his rare is going to set you back almost 1 Ethereum. As you can see on the graph here, he's scored a lot of goals. We can go over to SofaScore and have a look at how many exactly he has scored. So he's played 21 games, started 14. He's got 9 goals, 2 assists, which is very decent, I think. For a forward of his age. There was rumours of a Newcastle move happening. I don't know, what happened there, but yeah, he did end up getting injured, so he's been out for a few weeks now. And yeah, I think this kid has the potential to be a very, very good striker, right? If you're scoring these type of goals at 19 years of age, then you've probably got a decent career ahead of you. Like I said, he's under 23 until 2026, so you got a load of utility out of him. And yeah, I think for the right price, I think this kid could be big goal scorer for any SO5 team. We all know that your forwards need to score goals for you to get close to winning prizes, right? So yeah, I think this kid can do it. Whether he gets a move next season, tough to really gauge where that would be. You know, if he does end up moving to the Premier League, does his output decrease? Probably, you know, but does he move to a better club in France? Maybe we could see his scoring output improve in that sense, right? So it's all dependent on the move. If he does get the move, if he stays, then, you know, you'd like to think, you know, you could expect a similar output from him. You know, obviously a year older, a year more experience, confidence as well. So yeah, for me, you know, he could be a very big player in the near future for sure. Next on my list is Saidu, who is a centre back for Saint Etienne. He's currently 19 years old and he is under 23 eligible until 2027. You can pick up a limited for roughly 33 euros and a rare for roughly 300 euros, right? So he's out right now with a mild ankle sprain. But prior to that, you know, he was seeing quite a few minutes. As you can see here, he scored some really nice scores. He's actually got a few goals this season. I think I was just looking on SofaScore here. He's got, you know, nine starts, 11 games total played, 2 goals, 1 assist, no clean sheets for Saint Etienne. Tells you a big story, right? That's obviously going to affect his scores. But, you know, he is a full international as well for Guinea. He was playing in the African Cup of Nations as a 19-year-old. That's pretty big in my opinion. But yeah, Saint Etienne, they don't look as doomed as they were a few weeks ago. You know, they are out of the relegation zone, I think. I could be completely wrong saying that. Let me check because I don't want to butcher what I'm saying here and make myself look like an absolute idiot. Where are we looking? Yeah, they are. Okay, they are out of the relegation zone. I was correct in saying so. I don't think he walks back into the team in any way because Saint Etienne have been getting a few decent results. So yeah, this one would be very much a long-term play. From what I'm seeing here, there's a few decent AA scores here, like you can see here against Gambia. You know, roughly 33 euros for a limited. I don't think it's a bad investment at all, seeing as though you have at least 5 more years of under 23 eligibility, as long as he's playing in a eligible league, of course, right? So yeah, for me, you know, it's pretty low risk, this one. I don't think it's high reward in any sense, but I think, you know, you could get a very solid centre back here in the next coming years, you know, if you are patient. The last player on our list is Matthias Hilgers of FC20. He is under 23 eligible until 2025. He's 20 years old right now. He will be turning 21 in a few months. Currently out injured with a groin strain. You can pick up a limited for 100 euros roughly and a rare for roughly 730. But yeah, looking at his scores here, he's scored some very, very nice AA scores here, right? So 78 versus Vitesse with a clean sheet. 84 here, an all-round score 48, which is huge. All-round score 40, all-round score 30, all-round score 39. So, you know, he was hitting some form before he got injured, for sure. And he's not in, like, the best of teams in the world. It's not as if he's playing for Ajax or PSV. You know, he's playing for a decent team in FC20. But you can imagine if he was in a better team, a more ball-dominant team, then you could probably guess that his AA score would maybe improve passing-wise, maybe not so much defensive-wise, because, you know, if you're in a weaker team, then you're going to be, you know, tackling more, intercepting more, winning more duels, right? So there is a fine balance there for sure. But for me, this kid looks the real deal for sure. I was just looking at his SofaScore. He scored 1 goal this season, 1 assist. So he was a very big part of FC20 season. Just looking at a couple of his stats here, he averages 2.5 tackles a game, which is huge if you want to be hitting those triples in terms of, you know, the tackles, interceptions and ground duels on the scoring matrix. 2.5 tackles per game is a lot. Interceptions 1.1 and clearances 2.5. So it looks like his defensive game is there or has been there this season. Hopefully he can get back before the season ends. But yeah, for me, this could be a nice little long-term play for sure. Guys, I hope you have enjoyed this video. I hope you have taken something from it. If you have, please leave a like. Like I said at the start of the video, it does mean a lot to me. And if you are new around here, please subscribe. Plenty more content on the way. I wish you the best of luck for this upcoming game week. Any questions, any suggestions, leave them below in the comment section. I'll get back to everyone. Hope you've had a wicked day, and I shall see you guys in the next video.